If you've ever started a project full speed and then halfway through, everything died and your brain was onto a different thing, this one's for you. So let's talk about this, because I was at an event recently speaking with a guy who told me that he learned very early on that he has to find new things to do, and he'll move from one project to the next, to the next, to the next, because that's how he actually keeps things going throughout the day. He rarely finishes anything out in a single day because it's just not what he engages with. The hard part for me to listen to was that he then proceeded to talk about how his significant other and people he's worked with all of his career really think that he's got a discipline issue, that he can't control himself, that he can't just work on one thing and actually get it done. For the ADHD brain, this is not a discipline issue. It's how ADHD motivation works. So ADHD brains are fueled by interest, novelty, and urgency. And when interest drops, the brain doesn't release enough dopamine to stay engaged, which becomes a real problem because without that dopamine, we have a hard time staying focused. Momentum is that internal energy that is pushing us forward. And once it breaks, it can be really hard to restart for the same project. This is why this gentleman told me that he would often stop a project before he wanted to, so that when he came back to it the next day, he was still excited to keep working on that project. So how do we stay in motion? Great question. First, you're welcome to use what this gentleman was explaining he has learned worked for him. If that works for you, go for it. But a few other things you can try as well. First, dopamine rewards. So dopamine rewards is this idea of pairing a boring task or a task you've been avoiding with a small win. This could be snacks, this could be movements, this could be, hey, I get to pick a sticker to put somewhere without guilt, or it could be any variety of things. I have a lady who likes to pair her bookkeeping each month with being allowed to make herself a really fancy latte. It's a tea-based latte that she really loves, and she never will give herself permission to make this latte because it's kind of detailed to make it and it's expensive tea. But by tying that to her bookkeeping each month, she has a reason to feel like she has earned that latte and gets excited about actually doing her bookkeeping. Micro-milestones are the next thing that I would encourage you to start using. If you haven't tried these already, this is the idea of taking a bigger goal and then breaking it down into really small step by step by step, so you get a little bit of dopamine every single time. One of my favorite tools for this is Goblin Tools, because you can go to it and say, I need to do X. Can you break this down into really small steps for me? And it will do that. And then you just keep the steps that you want and get rid of the ones that don't make sense for you. If it helps, set up an accountability system. Now, one of the things that I have quickly learned about accountability systems is that your accountability system needs to come from someone that you actually care about being held accountable by. A couple years back, I had a group ask me, Stephanie, what can we do to hold you accountable? And this was a group that I had never met before. And all I wanted to say, and fortunately the brain and the mouth caught up before this slipped out, was you can't. I don't know you guys. I don't respect you guys. We just met literally 2 hours ago. So you telling me you're going to hold me accountable isn't going to do anything to me. Like I said, thank God the brain caught up before that slipped out of my mouth. But setting up some variety of an accountability system that you will respect can make a big difference, especially for a big task. If you've got someone that you know is going to check in, that you don't want to disappoint, you are much more likely to actually get that thing done, to go put time on your calendar or wherever you need to do, sticky notes, whatever you need to do to make sure you're moving that forward when they go to check in with you. Next up, set up visual progress tracking for yourself. Now, this could be your micro-milestones where you have a whole list and it's just checking things off as you go. This could also be setting up a bunch of sticky notes, and then as you get them done, you get to move them towards a finish line, like a race. Or it could be setting up one of those thermometers, and as you complete different things, you get to color it in a little bit so you see the thermometer filling up. But give yourself some sort of visual progress tracker, because a lot of times we are very visual and there's so much going on in our brains that we just need something extra to actually sink it in. And next but not least, plan for the dip, because it is going to happen. You're going to have moments where you're going to disengage a little bit more than you normally would. It's going to happen. Expect the slump. Build in energy resets. When I teach time management, I often talk about setting up the white space on your calendar. And the white space on your calendar is just having time set aside for this task to take longer than it was supposed to, or this thing to pop up that you weren't expecting. Those things, there's going to be stuff that's going to derail you. You're going to end up needing a break in order to reset yourself because you're just straight up out of dopamine. dopamine, and that's okay. Especially if you have planned for it, then it's not going to derail you. It's not going to demotivate you. It's just going to give you a little bit of a break that you had set up for yourself. When we learn to work with how our brains function, it makes a big difference on what we are able to accomplish. You don't need more motivation. You need systems that will keep you moving when your motivation dips, because your brain chemistry is just a little bit different. So, what project are you working on next? And which of our stay in motion tips do you want to run with?